This piece is called In Response to Psychology Today. There I was, minding my own. Well, really, I was scanning social media on my phone, so technically I was minding mine and whichever parts of people's lives they chose to share. Trying to block out the many ways that life has a tendency to be unfair to brown girls. Only to find the icing on the pity party cake a good 10 times in my timelines. Breaking news, the entire world was yet again minding mine. Dousing fuel on the journalistic fire that had predetermined me to a lifetime of singledom, just when I chose to ignore all societal clues that Mr. Right doesn't come for African American women. Psychology Today announced that of a random sample of men, most agreed that of all women, the least attractive and presumably the last with whom they'd want to be was someone black, like me. But I was honestly surprised, because although we're consistently criticized, I still forget that the world views us through distorted eyes. That despite all indications it needs corrective lenses, it continues to squint as it pretends it has 20/20 vision, when neither its mind nor eyes are open enough to realize that oftentimes, preference is just a matter of what you're most exposed to, and that the creator was too creative to have confined beauty to a single hue. Perhaps he gave people too much credit when he hoped they'd be able to tell that there's something especially sweet about skin that can range from vanilla to caramel to milk chocolate to Hershey's Special Dark. Maybe he's a genius whose uncultured audience just can't appreciate his art. And the all-knowing knew all too well that it would be this way. But the gifted don't dumb down their work to appease those viewing the display. So God followed his heart and created woman an array of beautiful shapes and colors. And for seeing her struggle, he gave the brown girl thicker skin than the others. So while she knew she'd never be some men's first choice because she was different than the norm, she was content with the love of her creator and the one from whose ribs she was formed. There comes a point when even the most reserved woman is compelled to make a sound, and even the most humble eventually tire of fading into the background. So she crashed the great American dream, spray painting its white picket fence because it seemed to need a little color. And even more to the homeowner's chagrin, she walked through the front door on a mission, head held high, a far cry from the woman once beat into submission, standing with brown hands on capacious hips, a smile tugging at her full lips, once downcast gaze, now staring observers right in the eye. With a steady voice she proclaimed, I have arrived. And as she worked the room, the men couldn't help but watch her move. But they claimed they were only hypnotized by her backside, and while it had been known to leave men speechless, their pride and prejudice wouldn't allow them to confess. Their fascination with the way her eyes shone like black opaque marbles with flickers of light where the hope shined in. And they failed to mention their intrigue as she spoke on subjects from healthcare to education. And they wondered how she mastered acclamation without succumbing to assimilation. For she was all up in their classrooms and boardrooms, class and head of state, managing stocks, bonds, and estates with afros, locks, and cornrows, relaxers, and micros. Any hairstyle she chose, no-nonsense professional juxtaposed with a round-the-way girl, determined every morning to take on the world regardless of the horrors of the night before. No matter who pounded down or walked out her door, she still keeps shining, thriving, as others try to figure out why they can't help but turn their head when she walks by. And other women spend a fortune and a lifetime under the knife, injecting lips and gluteus maximus and attempt to look like the least attractive woman men ever did. But to meet them, Monique, Ebony, if it's any consolation, all I ever wanted to be was one of thee. So if I could travel back to the moment before my conception and sit suspended in time and possibility far above the sun, bouncing on my heavenly Father's knee, and I was free to determine the circumstances of my birth and my life on earth, I tell him, go ahead, show off, hold nothing back. Even if it's gonna catch me some slack, just please, God, color me black.